Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for your Tuesday, December the 19th. And I'm wearing Red Wings, which means good news, bad news situation for the Wings today. The good news, they've signed Michael Hutchinson to a two-way deal for the remainder of this season. Now, they're a team with three goaltenders, but they're down to one after last night's game, so that's the bad news part of it. Husso is seen as week to week, according to Coach Lalonde, and Lyon won't be back before Christmas. So they needed another goalie, at least in the meantime. So Michael Hutchinson signs. He's been around for quite some time. It's going to be a fascinating career video when his career comes to an end. But either way, Hutchinson comes in. We know he can be a capable backup, at least as a fill-in for here. And so Reimer's going to get the lion's share of starts until Lyon's back or Husso's back. So I didn't mean for the lion's share thing to come out. It just came out. We'll just go with it. So Costin's also week to week for Detroit as they continue to go through all of the injuries and everything else. And yeah, we'll see how things go for them. For Toronto, Martin Jones is starting tonight against the Rangers. You know, one of the, and I should have predicted this. So I'm already seeing, like, should they go with Jones instead of Samsonov? Is Jones the better goalie? Maybe Jones. Look, it's one game, and like it's just as weird to me. And it's not fans, it's media too. Or it's like, oh, what should Toronto do with their goaltending? Okay, like Jones is the number 3 guy. He had a very good game the other night. He's starting tonight against the Rangers. I wouldn't read anything more into it than that. Tavares is also going to be honored tonight for his 1,000th point and helping Toronto's odds tonight. Matthews and Brody both returned to action. So they had a very good game without them the other night. But again, if you want, prolonged success, you need to have a healthy lineup or healthy-ish. The NHL, it's usually healthy-ish. There's no truly healthy lineup once the season started. But having Matthews and Brody back will help the Toronto Maple Leafs against a Rangers team that should be highly motivated after being defeated 7-3 the last time these teams met. Antti Raanta. So the redemption could start tonight. He will start for the Chicago Wolves against the Manitoba Moose. I saw that and I thought, now who would want to fight between a wolf and a moose? And it just, it's one of those things that it's a guy question. But yeah, Raanta gets to start tonight, so hopefully he plays well and comes out with the victory and brings himself back up to the NHL sooner rather than later. But remember, they do have Dell on a PTO, and now Anderson's trending towards a return as well. Carolina could have a very crowded net when we get to the trade deadline. Andrei Kuzmenko, which is kind of a segue, speaking of trade deadline, because Canuck fans right now are playing armchair GM with what can we get for Kuzmenko. My answer to that would be with Kuzmenko's cap hit, it's probably going to be less than what Canucks fans think they should get for Kuzmenko. The one thing is he's likely a healthy scratch tonight, so there's that. You can't be scratching a player who's as talented as Kuzmenko on the regular, and I do think that we're going to see a move happen. One thing I will say for Patrick Allvin is he doesn't seem to let these things linger for very long. If you have speculation about a player, it feels like that speculation gets cleared up pretty quickly one way or the other. And so we'll see if Kuzmenko ends up being moved and what happens from there. And of course, then there's all the discussion about whether or not they should extend Zadorov. And I'm thinking, well, Zadorov's just arrived, so maybe give it a little bit of time. Again, with the media, it's just, what do you think? Keep him. What are we going to do? It's been 5 or 6 games. Just wait. Just wait. Anyway, I do understand, though, that with the way that the schedule works and everything, that waiting is probably not a great idea either. But I don't have any definitive answers when it comes to Zadorov and where his place would be on the blue line. And, well, Myers is on an expiring contract, so what are they going to... Yeah, let's just... anyways. That being said, Kuzmenko being out as healthy scratch again, I do think he ends up getting moved. I'm not sure for what. But again, I don't expect the return to be exactly what I think some fans might want for Kuzmenko. You're not trading the guy who had all those goals last year. You're trading the guy who's struggling to get those goals this year. And obviously the fear would be after you've traded him, those goals show up, right? So he goes to, say, Seattle and puts up a ton of goals all of a sudden because he finds a good mix in Seattle, that kind of thing. Adin Hill's considered day-to-day for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we don't have a definitive timeline with him. It doesn't sound like it's that bad. But he did pull himself out of the game. It was his first game back. So we shall see with Adin Hill how long he's out. But obviously when a player's just coming back from injury, you don't want to see him out again. And he is. So the roster freeze starts tonight. So from tonight at midnight local time, for whatever team your local time is midnight, They cannot make a trade, they cannot waive a player, and there will be no loans to the minors of a player unless you've recalled them on an emergency basis. Then they can be sent back down. So it runs until December 28th, and it means if there's any trades to be made, they have to be made today. If anybody's going to go on waivers, it would be today. And then outside of that, that's all done. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how busy things are today. I don't expect it to be that busy. I really don't. I think that we'll get into more trade activity and more interesting names when it comes to waivers later in the season. Once we get closer to the trade deadline and teams are really looking at making big moves, usually right before Christmas isn't the time for those moves. So anybody who goes on waivers probably clears that kind of thing, because you can't waive anybody tomorrow. So why would you put in a waiver claim today? And I mean, unless there's an injury or something going on. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Sidney Crosby now sits 13th on the all-time points list. He has 1,535 points, and there's the possibility, it's a slim possibility, but it's there, that he could end up 10th by the end of the season. So he's 4 points behind Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton, of course, being 12th on the list. 44 behind Ray Bourque, who is 11th on the list. And he's 55 behind Phil Esposito, who is 10th on the list. So could Crosby get 55 points the rest of the way? He can, sure. And so, yeah, there's a chance that at the end of this season, Crosby's top 10 on the all-time list in scoring, which would be kind of fantastic. So all he needs to do is get to 1,590 points. He'd tie Phil. 1,591. He's by himself in 10th place. And the only other player that's in that realm of possibility, of course, Ovechkin right now, who has 1,502 points, I believe. But he's a little ways behind Esposito for 10th on the list. And obviously, by the time he get up there, Crosby will be the 10th player, maybe even 9th. I think Sakic's the next one on the list, though. I think it's 1,641. It can take a little while for him to get there. But do I think Crosby gets there? Yeah, probably. I don't think he's retiring anytime soon. So, kudos to Crosby for reaching 13th. Jeff Skinner won't play tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. He's considered day-to-day. The good news, if you're a Sabres fan, Jack Quinn is playing tonight. Quinn will be in the lineup. That should help to replace some of what you lose with Skinner being out of the lineup due to injury. So, yeah, we'll see. Skinner, honestly, was having a decent season. But Quinn does give you something a little bit different. And obviously, if Skinner's day-to-day, he shouldn't be out that long. And Buffalo should get healthier. But Buffalo needs to start stringing some wins together. And I've said that a bunch of times lately. And tonight they're against Columbus. So if you're going to heat up and suddenly start winning more games than you're losing, tonight's a good time to start. We'll see what they do. Bruins news. Zucker returns to the lineup for them tonight. McAvoy's considered a game-time decision. McAvoy's missed the last 4 games. Zaka's been out for about that period of time too, I believe. But yeah, so for the Boston Bruins, getting a little bit healthier should help them. They've been 5-3-2 in their last 10. Not quite the world beaters that they look like early in the season. But of course, it's an 82-game schedule. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And yeah, it's always interesting to see which teams go through their slump and when, and how that benefits them or hurts them later. But let me know your thoughts regarding any of these items on the board in the comment section below. And so the one question I would throw out there is what people think the Canucks would get if Kuzmenko got traded right now. I wouldn't expect much. Probably not a high draft pick or not a really high-profile player. And considering the cap situation around the NHL, it might end up being a dollar out, dollar in situation for the Canucks as well. But let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, because if you don't, I know. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.